And you mentioned that flow state. Is it safe to assume that every jump you go into that flow state?
Yeah, I think that's one of the most addicting parts of the sport, whether you're just jumping out of a plane, falling on your belly like a skydiver would, or doing something as extreme as the Point Break movie. It's I call it, it's air therapy. It's
Yeah.
a normal skydive's a minute. So I always say it's a forced minute of meditation that you can't help but fall into this. You don't have to get into it. It's the second you step out or off or whatever your exit is, you're in that feeling.
You're
And
in.
that's what that euphoria feeling. And and that's what everybody keeps going back for.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, of course, I'm not an athlete at anywhere close to your level. So, you're, um, Steph Curry, and I'm a guy who plays basketball with a couple buddies every once in a while in the front of my house. So I'm not confused about who's where in this discussion. But that said, I relate to that experience. I mean, as a surfer, I think that is why we surf, because for that
The
18
moment.
seconds or what, it's a very short period of time, as you well know. There's nowhere to be other than completely in the moment, dancing with the wave. There's no grocery list. There's no anything, right? Actually, I'd be curious for me in that physical flow state. There's not even really me, if you know what I mean.
Very much so. Yeah.
Is that how it is for you?
Yeah. It feels very, very removed, almost like you're looking at yourself. You're not yourself. You're more,
You're
you're,
thir-
you're a third
some of the
person.
psychologists, yeah, they call it the third person consciousness, where it's as though you're outside yourself, watching yourself.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
So that's how it is for you.
Yeah. Anymore, I have so many jumps that maybe not the typical, if I just go skydiving and I'm out at the drop zone jumping, you still get into that air therapy, as I call it, the minute of free fall that you're just in the moment because you still have to be, but it doesn't get that intense like the third person feeling unless I'm taking myself to a very high level of my sport.
Yeah. And I guess that happens for all of us, right? As a surfer who's gotten to be a mediocre longboarder, when I go out on a small day, for me, I'm still going to feel great getting out of the water. But when you take the intensity level down, that level of flow, present, urgent presence is less. Is that how it is?
Yeah, 100%. It's exactly the same.
So it's just different depending on what you're doing. But it's the
Yeah, it's all
same
relative
feeling.
to where you're at in this, whatever sport you're given or you name it. And I think it's the same, like what's funny to me is when I did a talk for the Go Abundance guys, Tim and everybody, I went to Tahoe and I did a little like web thing with them, and there was 12 dudes. I'm talking to them and they invited me out to Tahoe. And so I kind of thought, okay, I'm going to go talk to 12 or 20 dudes. Right. And luckily I prepared a great PowerPoint and the whole thing. So I show up at this event, super casual. I was hot tubbing out in the hot tub like 20 minutes before the talk. I had no idea. And then I walk into the auditorium and there's like 400 people sitting there.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. Like I had no,
Fun.
I was in flip flops and shorts and so I ran to my room, got dressed nice, like came back, and being up on stage is one of my first big talks.
Oh, it
And,
was.
and it was, for that size. Yeah. Like I'd done a lot of, groups for sure, but I was expecting another like 30 person group that I was going to talk to and try to inspire. And I slipped into almost the same level of like wingsuiting off a cliff type of like flow state of mind, super, present in the moment, because it was just such a rush and overwhelming what was going on. So I think what we're explaining can happen in anybody's world with anybody's story.